Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners across the pond and also down in Latin America. And of course, you good old boys up in Canada. But Big C, there's no one we love more than the good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Today is a beautiful September 25th, 2017. Big C, how's it going for all you good old boys? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I really love it. A lot of good things going on in the world of sports. Also, the world of politics. I tell you, Big C, I hear some knuckleheads saying, we only want to talk about sports. I don't want to talk about anything but the score. As if they're too dumb to realize what's going on in the world. But we started first by keeping it real. And we just want to say, I love this country. I love so much about it that we can do pretty much what we want to do within the law. And you have a right to agree and disagree. I do want to say this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. So Big C, obviously, sports, as we always say, can bring our society together. But it doesn't mean you have to be a dumb person, especially when we have the President of the United States of America, and he calls everyone an SOB who's gonna exercise their right of the First Amendment, freedom of speech. I just want to get your thoughts because you live in the South, and I know sometimes we make fun of how sometimes that good old boy behavior is still there. But what makes POTUS thinks he can go down to Alabama in the South and become bigoted, and people they applaud? Big C, your thoughts? Yeah. 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 That's their money. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
His base is what his base is. It is the racial divide of America. But we are a great company.
Yeah.
Country, rather.
Yeah.
And this country was built on racial divide.
Yeah.
But the racial divide has grown somewhat. We're not the African-American culture that we were under Martin Luther King and said, turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
African-Americans will not resort back, Charlton, to the 40s and the 50s.
Nope.
Where Jim Crow stood, as the law of the land.
Yeah.
No longer there.
Yeah.
African-American culture will not go back to the culture that was there with Donald Trump to get 5 deferments from Vietnam and hide.
How many? How many?
This guy would not fight for America, but he wants to say that he's a patriot. He's been a liar. He's been a rebel. But the most appalling part about what he called Charlton
Yeah.
African-Americans the SOB
Yeah.
is that if we go back to Charlottesville, Virginia, okay?
Yeah.
But he said that the neo-Nazis were some good people.
Yeah.
He is not called Putin an SOB.
No.
He is not called the leader from Turkey an SOB.
No.
He is not called the leader from any other foreign country who is oppressed their people from the Philippines an SOB.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But he called African-American taxpayers SOB, community activists SOB.
Yeah.
But if you're a neo-Nazi talking about abolishing a race,
And that's a shame too. And there's two things that I see, Big C. Number one, I love living in the land of the free and the home of the brave. We couldn't have Big C Sports in Russia. We couldn't have Big C Sports in China. But a lot of the sports talk shows, I said, Big C, you already started? I turned to some of the other programs, and they're always talking about what smart people talk about, which is politics and also race and religion and sports. I mean, when you're an intelligent person, you can do that. And so I applaud a lot of the media brethren for being more like Walter Cronkite. We're not saying we're the first, but we do real talk. And I just want to congratulate, especially these young African-American men who know it's all about criminal justice reform. We can take a knee all we want to, but when a white man and a black man stand in front of a judge for the same crime, and the white man gets probation, the black man gets to prison, standing on the knee is not going to help. We need criminal justice reform. Big C, your thoughts? Yeah.
Using these drugs, overusing these drugs, using them illegally. So
Yeah.
Addiction.
Yeah. Yeah.
African Americans get 25 years for using crack cocaine. White Americans get drug rehab for using cocaine because it's a medical addiction. They have a chemical imbalance. Okay?
Yeah.
There's always an explanation for reason why the difference in treatment charges.
Yeah.
But when we look at the NFL and you call out these owners who are billionaires who are not afraid of you because they have more money.
And all of our white except for one, the guy that owns the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Sean Conn is worth $8.8 billion, Charles.
Yeah.
He's not afraid of the president in any kind of way.
No.
He is the mosaic of what America's about.
Yeah.
He came from India as a child with his parents.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He has built an empire financially here in America. He employs thousands and thousands of Americans, people that were born here.
Yeah.
And, he's
Yeah. Yeah.
He's employing thousands and thousands of white Americans in his factories.
Yeah.
And he's not looked at as the person who doesn't do his job in America, who doesn't share the wealth.
Yeah.
He's employing people. He brought a franchise to keep people employed.
Yep.
But the president overstepped his bounds. I was most appalled from it. The SOB was bad.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if anybody reminded him what went on in Houston
Yeah.
with the hurricane.
Yep.
And all the homeless people, he didn't talk about those people in Alabama and how he was going to help them.
Nope.
How he was going to make things better. How he was going to make sure that the funds got there quicker. He didn't talk about that. He was sitting there smoking his peacock feathers.
Yeah.
We just had a huge massive hurricane in Puerto Rico, a U.S. territory.
Yeah.
He didn't talk about the aid that these people need, the power that they're without, the food that they're without, the health care that they're without. He didn't. He took it and doubled down on what Janelle Hill said 3 weeks ago at ESPN. That he's a racist, he's a fascist, and that's what he doubled down on. He told everybody on television that he was a racist and a fascist because he called African-American football players SOBs and they should be fired, kicked out. And then he's also telling the people not to pay the owners to go to the game.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
I didn't realize the NBA was going to wade into this. We even had the catcher from the Oakland A's, Charles, took
Yeah.
a knee yesterday before the game because he's an Iraqi veteran. He
Yeah.
went to deferments in the Middle East. He took a knee.
Yeah.
Alejandro Villanueva, offensive tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who did 3 tours
Yeah.
in Afghanistan. Okay.
Yep.
He felt bad for walking out on his teammates and standing in the tunnel. He didn't walk out on the field. He didn't feel the need to do that, but he stood in the tunnel. And he said today that he felt bad because he walked away from his teammates, Charles.
Yeah, ironically too, I just wonder for our society, and I know there's a lot of people, they still want bigotry because for some reason they think it benefits them, but I just want to ask, why does the Trump base hate when it comes to gender and racial equality? What's the hate about that? Obviously, there are still people who say this against the flag, it's against the military. Black Americans have fought in every war this country's ever had, from the Civil War to the last war that we had, and even, I hope we don't go to another war with North Korea, but all that garbage talk, I hate to hear that. But Black Americans have fought in every single war. It's all about the criminal commission issued over half a century ago and criminal justice reform. So I don't know where it's going to go, Big C, but I'm glad that men are not shaking in their boots anymore. Remember we were talking about that a year ago? A lot of guys were afraid to even stand up for their own kids. Like, they got to tell their kids, hey, just keep your head down. This got a pseudo Jim Crow going on. I'm proud of even our white brethren for the first time that I can see in a long time that even white men are starting to say, you know what, right is right and wrong is wrong. Big C, your thoughts? Yeah.
If you're African, if you're not white, you don't have the right of freedom of speech.
Yeah.
But you can't have a stance. And in all of this, Charlton, it resonates what Colin Kaepernick was about, but also Colin Kaepernick's message gets lost.
Yeah.
In all of this, Charlton. Because I recall when Trump was elected, he said, you know, if some owner signs Colin Kaepernick, they're going to get a nasty tweet from me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
When he threatened the owners on Thursday night, Charlton, down in Mobile, Alabama. In Alabama, you know, you go to a highway. Why didn't you go to Birmingham?
Yeah.
Okay? Why not there?
Yeah.
You know, why not some other large city in LA? But he goes to Mobile. We got 3 people in there, Charlton.
Wait.
They do a big barbecue to get people.
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. A lot are on public assistance also. Yeah. A lot. Yeah, you're right. And obviously, Big C, this problem's not going to go away over the weekend. It's been around for over 400 years. I'm just proud as a person of color who's embraced every culture and know people of every culture and interact with people of every culture, not just for saying it. I mean, there are so many people say, I know a black friend or I got a white friend, etc. I mean, if that's all they got, that's okay too. But there are people who understand that equality is for everybody. I'm proud of our country for having the dialogue. There's no right or wrong in it, other than right is right and wrong is wrong. Yeah.
We're honestly not. We're not having dialogue. That's what everybody says, dialogue.
Yeah.
I've heard dialogue too long. No one is having dialogue. Everyone is having animosities. Regardless of which side that you're on, it's all about animosity. There's no dialogue. There's no fix. There's no quick fix.
Yeah.
There isn't, Charlie. You know, like I said, 50 years ago, Martin Luther King said, turn the other cheek, nonviolence. Malcolm X said, by any means possible.
Yeah.
And when people say by any means possible, well, you're anti-American. No, you're not. When was the last time people didn't go out and shoot black Americans, okay?
Yeah.
You're anti-American because you shoot black Americans and you get away with it? Because you lynched black Americans and you got away with it? Many of those people that were lynched and shot, Charlton, over the decades.
Yeah.
Who knows where their offspring would have been for as great athletes in America, great contributors in our political
Doctors, lawyers, yeah.
great advocates and social leaders.
Even presidents.
Lost their lives and they never had an opportunity to pass on to their offspring, Charlton.
Yeah.
They never did, okay?
Yeah.
So you think about how much of black America was lost because white society felt that they could kill us for fun. And that's the fact. And it hasn't stopped yet, Charlton.
Well, I understand that, dude, but I do see people talking, and where there's taking a small step or a big step, a lot of this conversation, you know, Big C, people would have it behind closed doors. They wouldn't dare to bring it out in the public, and that's one thing that it gives me some hope that I do see that people are starting to have these conversations, at least on TV. They have it on radio. Oftentimes, when a black man stood up, they were ostracized or just banned from their sport. And we know that's happened throughout history. So I think there's great hope in the future. We will definitely do our part in trying to keep the conversation going.
But Charlton,
Yeah.
Look, a couple weeks ago when ESPN said the thoughts of Janelle Hill were not the thoughts of the company.
Yeah.
Why has the company been talking about it for the last 3 years?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Are they the thoughts of the company now that everyone is having dialogue on ESPN?
Yeah.
You had a black female, which he talked about, calling players SOB.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Calling women the B word. That's what he was doing. All right?
Yeah.
Donald Trump was calling women the B word, black women.
Yeah.
This is what he said. Janelle Hill, black woman,
Yeah.
journalist, broadcaster. She spoke out about what he is, okay? Not what he is going to be or what he was.
Yeah.
It's what he is. She spoke clearly about that, Charles.
Yeah.
She can articulate her words very clearly.
Yeah, and it seems.
ESPN has been talking about this the whole week.
Yeah.
But they're trying to not say that she spoke about it before. Guys, you gotta be, you gotta tiptoe around this subject.
Yeah. Well,
We gotta make it seem nice. This is what ESPN is doing.
Yeah.
Even Fox is sitting there. I heard a guy, Jason Whitlock. I don't understand what all this is about.
He's not well read enough.
That guy that was fired by ESPN.
Yeah, he's not well read enough though. That's why they put him on the air all the time.
Yeah.
That I do. Yeah. They might be closely related at the dinner table, Big C. Hey, remember that was back in the day. I heard a comedian saying something about how the slave owners reacted to the slave master. Some of them are so beaten down by no fault of their own, they just wanted to not be murdered. So if Massa was sick, they would say, "Boss, we sick? Boss, are we sick?" And sometimes I see a lot of guys who get hired who have that same mentality, Big C. But you can watch it and find out who they are. I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. And for every sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They cover pro athletes, your collegiate players, your high school players, even your mom and pop soccer leagues. And when you reach out to them, let them know that Big C sent you. And so Big C, obviously, when anything, this is almost like what athletes go through. And I think everyone should play some form of athletics. I'm not being flippant about that, but there's a different level of thickness to your mentality. You got to put up with a lot just to make it. And you're a little bit able to handle a lot of pressure that other people can't handle. And that's why we've always said, I think sports will galvanize our country. I'm hearing more and more people say that. Usually they say it's religion. Let's go pray about it. I'm tired of praying. I'm ready for reform that happens and that's signed into law by our courts. That's what's going to keep a lot of people from being falsely in prison. And when they accuse, like the Central Park 5 that Donald Trump was off, ironically, who was the guy involved with the Central Park 5? Was it Donald Trump again?
Donald Trump wanted 5 black men put to death for a crime that they did not commit.
And who had a... who?
I've never heard him apologize.
No, he won't.
Or retract from any statement.
No.
I think about the young lady that lost her life in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
From those neo-Nazis that Donald Trump backed.
Yeah.
They were good people.
Yeah.
They go out and kill somebody. He's not talking about the neo-Nazis that people should protest and pull back from them and resist them. He said they're good people.
He didn't call them SOBs. I know that much.
NFL black players are not good people.
Yeah, and he didn't call them SOBs. So obviously, listen, you got to be pretty dumb not to know who Donald Trump is. When they say it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, and you guys eat it, Big C, but most people say it's a duck. That makes sense, Big C? That is so funny.
He's not clean.
Yeah.
When you look at an individual like this, he is not clean. But I'm appalled at this man.
Yeah.
Because we have millions of Americans down in the 4th largest city in America.
Yeah.
Down in Houston.
Yeah.
We have 3 million Americans down in Puerto Rico who are in dire straits for survival.
Yeah.
For survival, Jonathan. He's out attacking millionaires and billionaires instead of sending aid to the most desperate of Americans who need it right now.
Yeah.
Who's not talking about helping them.
Yeah.
He is trying to cause a divide in the country instead of aiding and healing wounds that this country has that are wide open, Joe.
Yeah, and I agree. And obviously, Big C Sports is going to have to be the one that does it, Big C. I do want to touch on just one more game going on tonight. You have the Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys, Big C? And they're the Arizona Cardinals down in the desert in Glendale. And I guess they were talking about, I don't know what the conversation is or what they're going to do. You know, Jerry Jones is America's team. These guys are Trump supporters, the owners of these teams. But when he starts saying, we're going to cost you your money, now they're acting like they're black all of a sudden. They got to stand in unity. First, they were telling the black guys, if you stand in unity, we're going to fire you. Now that he's attacked the white men and their money, now they all want to come together conspicuously late, but they at least came together. I give them credit, but a half credit for that. Big C, your thoughts on that?
People are always fighting to inject their income, Joe.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they become activists.
Yeah.
Oh, you going to take my money?
Yeah.
I go back to when he was elected, and I'll always think about this Korean air conditioner, which was going to leave and go to Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay? He made this big fluff. Oh, I'm going to save a Korean air conditioner, and I'm going to find any company that's going to leave America now.
Yep.
Jonathan, since he's been a president, you got to look at how many corporations in America have filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Okay? We've talked about Sears. We've talked about the largest toy company in the world.
Yeah.
And several other companies, Jonathan, since he's become president,
Yeah.
And he's not talking about anything about how he's saving jobs for Americans now. There's no talking about job creation. When you think about the job creation that he's been in office
Yeah.
versus Obama's first term in office at the same length of time,
Yeah.
there's been about half the amount of jobs created. We're not doing a comparison.
Well, I
There's
tell.
been about half the amount of jobs that are created.
Well, I tell you, there's.
Thing that's going to happen, Charles, is
Yeah.
within the next 7 to 12 months.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see another stock market crash. We're going to see it, just like under Trump Bush. We're going to see a stock market crash. It has gone too high, too quick with his cronies making money. They're going to make their money, they're going to pull the money out.
Yeah.
When they pull the money out, the stock market is going to crash.
Well, there's a lot of people.
They're going to be affected by that also.
Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about that.
Are going to be affected. But he's throwing all this shade out it, as we say in the sports world.
Yeah.
Trying to deflect from the reality. And the reality is, I mean, here's his son-in-law now with this private email service.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
How
Well,
the Republicans react.
he didn't know that he didn't know it wasn't the government's password though. He forgot it was his own email, Bixie. Isn't that what Bill? Didn't Don say lock him up, lock him up? That's what he said about Hillary. Is he saying the same thing about his son-in-law, Bixie? Yeah.
70% of them are black, at least 50% of them.
Yeah.
Why are you only focusing on minorities when you attack?
We already know. We already know. Yeah.
This is what I'm asking about in remote.
Yeah.
He just tried to sneak through another travel ban today.
Yeah.
Through the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Trying to sneak a new one in.
Yeah.
Okay? But why are all of this action against minorities? Building a wall against Mexico.
Ask
We
Jay.
understand the great contributors that Mexico has had to the United States culture,
Yeah.
industry, and finance.
Well, I'm
And,
sure.
they're suffering through this great earthquake. He's not talking about aiding the people of Mexico.
No.
He's not at all. But yet they were aiding the people of Houston.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, Big C, all's fair in love and war, and there's also a debate about the health care bill that's going to go down in flames again tonight. But obviously, this is why we live in America, because we can have different sides of the table. We can have conversation, and nothing happens without conversation. So I'm at least glad that we're having that. I do want to touch on the final few minutes on some things that happened in the NFL over the weekend. Just give me your thoughts on the performance. Now, I look at what happened with the Raiders last night, a late start, and Carr didn't even pass for 100 yards. He made Kirk Cousins look like he was going up against Joe Theismann. What happened with the Raiders last night, Big C? Your thoughts? Yeah.
You look at the area that they come from, and a lot of tragedies happen there in Northern California, in the area where they are, San Francisco and Oakland.
Yeah.
And this is a team that had to travel across country in the nation's capital.
Yeah.
It's affected a lot of teams in many ways.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at teams that are emotionally driven, when you look at their crowd, I mean, the Raider crowd are very fanatic
Yeah.
about them, and so they care about the community. Here's a team that's torn about going to Vegas, the emotion of the players.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing with Seattle. Here's a team where, they're very much community-oriented, emotionally driven.
Yeah.
They were beaten down in the same type of way. But, the Redskins played an outstanding game last night. Kirk Cousins was like $125 million that he was putting
For one night. For one night.
we're not going to see an undefeated team in the NFL.
No. No.
We've seen the Raiders play some tough, close games. We've seen the Redskins lose close games.
Yeah.
But, this is a league of players and emotion.
Yep.
And it affected everybody in different ways last night and yesterday during the day.
Yeah.
In New Orleans. I mean, you look at the Steelers. I mean, it's a divisiveness. Even between all the teams, Dalton, you may vote. But when you take a vote, what does it mean? Everybody's not 100%.
Yeah.
So you go with the majority.
Yep.
When you take a vote. So there's a divisiveness. We saw that with Villanova was standing in the tunnel.
Yeah.
And the way he said he was ready. Also, Ben Roethlisberger said he was ready not being on the field.
Yeah.
So there's a divisiveness that these issues bring about in sport.
Yeah.
This is what he's trying to do as the leader of the country. You think about it. You're the leader of the most powerful country in the world.
Yep.
You should be a role model and an example every day.
I've given up on Donald Trump, though, Big C.
This is a guy
Yeah.
who plays handball with a snake up against the curb, Charles.
Yeah.
He's no higher than that.
Well, I think the president has a tough job, but I've given up on him being fair. I don't even expect. It reminds me as a young African-American boy. I remember coming in contact with some white American men that were very, very decent. But I also remember being called the N-word several times by people who were in business, by even a school teacher one time. It brought up those memories from way back in the day. And it's still there, even though you suppress it. But when you see a guy that reminds you of the guy that called you the N-word when you're a little teenage boy, it reminds me the same. They're going to lie in public. And the shame is that a lot of people, they condone it anyway. So all you can do is keep your head up, educate yourself, and Google about who the president is. Even under the Nixon administration, he had the largest lawsuit filed for housing discrimination because he would not rent houses to people who looked like Jason Whitlock, who wanted to defend the man of all places. And then the great Tom Brady, who says, I didn't even know what was going on, what all the mess was about. Talk about being just a dumb person, Big C. Yeah. 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 You know, when I was younger, I knew some white boys that were skinheads, and I knew some black guys that were Blood and Crips, all that dumb garbage, and people do whatever they got to do. But oftentimes, playing sports, they became friends because they realized how dumb it was to try to hurt each other in the land of the free and the home of the brave. A lot of these good old boys became friends. It's not about a black or white thing. It's about who has a decency for human beings. And because you have in every race, you have people who hate and like each other. That's way back in the days of the Bible. But at the same time, what makes our country great, and I'll stand by it, is that we can talk, whether we agree or disagree. That's what I love about having the Big C Sports Show. If we were on a network like a Fox Sports, or they would cowtie us. I think James Brown, very intelligent, eloquent man, he came out and said some things that are very poignant, and I appreciate him. But even then, CBS said we gave him the latitude to do it. Obviously, that's a corporation. But when corporations can condone what a bigot does in the White House, they should be able to condone what an egalitarian man does as well. So I'm proud of CBS Sports for doing that. And I'm proud of James. He's a smart man, and I like smart people. Big C, your thoughts? Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, maybe he'll get interviewed by Jason Whitlock, and he'll say, "I don't understand what he means by that." maybe. Yeah. 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 So what was your thoughts when you were a player? And especially playing with the Saints down in the South. Yeah, you were lucky got a Super Bowl ring. Yeah. For blocking for other people. You were on the team because you played great special teams and block. You weren't a great athlete. Yeah. And you were still great when you were there. I mean, you look at it now, you're still taking the team. Yeah. Calling other players forward. Yeah. On national television. I took very big effects to that, Charles. Yeah. I was appalled by that statement. Yeah. I expect that from Donald Trump. Well, Donald Trump's let people know that it's okay. I do want to say on the WNBA and the finals, we have the Actually, I was going to say the I'm Dodger on my mind, but LA won, Minnesota nothing, Big Z, and it was 85-84, a close game. The second game is going to be on Tuesday. Also, the LA team took I guess they waited in the locker room too, but obviously, this is going to be heated for a lot of people, and it should be. The Native Americans are still pissed off that this is not their country. When we talk about the land of the free and the home of the brave, I got some Native American friends, and they're never invited to this inclusion table that we're talking about, or this ban on different countries. They're never invited to that. You ever understand that, Big C? Why are the Native Americans never invited to the White House by Trump to talk about building a wall to keep people out? Your thoughts? Yeah. You stole this country from a culture of people who had been here. Final 2 minutes, Big C. Final 2 minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't start with the Europeans. Start with the Native Americans. Until we get it right from the beginning with the Native Americans and pay back for the atrocities that were done to them,
Yeah.
and then the rest of the culture, every culture of color has had atrocities done by the white culture in America.
Yeah.
We're not a racist program, we're a factual program.
All they got to do is Google it.
Look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Okay? Look in the mirror at yourself.
That's a
White Americans, look in the mirror.
that's a very good point.
Anything about voting out anybody from Europe, anybody from Russia,
Yeah.
anybody from Germany, these neo-Nazis protest on our soil where we had thousands of Americans, black, white, Indian,
Yep.
Chinese, Japanese, all fight the neo-Nazis during World War II, Charles.
Big C, I gotta say,
The neo-Nazis were being on our soil trying to get rid of our Jewish citizens.
and I gotta say, every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide, follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and the good old boys down south. I want to say there's never any reason for domestic violence. If you know anyone going through that garbage, just call 911. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.